Mike Kane from Kane Trial Law in Castle Rock. The timing of when you talk to a lawyer after an accident or an injury-causing event can either make or break your case. And unfortunately, a lot of people get this wrong. So today's video is going to give some advice and some tips that if you or a loved one is in an accident or has been injured through no fault of your own, how soon afterwards should you contact a personal injury lawyer? And I would say that no matter what, you want to talk with counsel before you talk to anyone from the other party's insurance company. And so that may be within a week or it may be within a month, depending on how severe your injuries are. First and foremost, obviously, the most important thing to do is get medical care. And the last thing you need to be worrying about if you're in the hospital or if you're laid up at home and you're still in that acute phase of your injuries is trying to find and talk to a personal injury lawyer. But what you shouldn't do is talk with the other side's insurance company before you talk to a lawyer, particularly in severe or catastrophic injury cases. Because when you talk to the insurance company, they are recording everything you say, especially if it's within a couple weeks of the injury. You may not know the full extent of what those injuries are. And so they are trained, them being the adjusters, are trained on the types of questions to ask you as an injured person to try and get you to talk. And so they will ask you things like, how are you feeling today? What are your injuries? I'm so sorry to hear that you were injured. Are you feeling better? Anything you say is going to be recorded and will most certainly be used against you down the road. Because what happens in a year, if the case needs to go into litigation, is the insurance adjuster who is handling the claim at the time takes a transcript of that call, puts it in the claim file, and the defense lawyer says, well, your client said that she was feeling pretty good a week after the crash, and now you're claiming that she has these permanent injuries. So talking to a lawyer before you have any conversations with the insurance company is my own advice, especially in severe or catastrophic injury cases. Because when you talk with a lawyer, almost every personal injury lawyer will do a free consultation, and you can explain what happened, what are some of the facts, and what are some of the injuries that you believe you have, what are your doctors telling you about the injuries. And even if you don't end up hiring that lawyer, or if it's not a good fit for that particular firm, that lawyer will tell you, give you general advice on how long your statute of limitations is in that particular case. Some things to do to make sure that you're following up with your doctor's recommendations. So those are some guidelines of how soon afterwards or how long you should wait until you talk to a lawyer. I definitely don't recommend calling a lawyer literally from the emergency room. And I've had that happen before. And I understand someone feels like they're overwhelmed. They don't know what to do. Do I need a lawyer's advice? Do I need to hire a lawyer right now? No, you don't need to call a lawyer from the emergency department. Make sure you get that medical care completed first. Make sure you get home. Make sure you start those initial phases of your recovery. Then you can start thinking about talking to a lawyer. One exception to that is if it's a trucking or a big commercial motor carrier case, so like a bus, a transport vehicle, a semi-truck. If you're involved or a family member is involved in one of those cases, I recommend either the injured person or someone in their family contacting a lawyer as soon as possible. So within days of the crash, because there are things that need to be done relatively quickly that the insurance company for the trucking company is going to know what to do to kind of circle the wagons and try and come up with defenses immediately to whatever circumstances caused the crash. But the victim doesn't know that. And so getting a lawyer involved quickly after a big trucking crash or a transport delivery vehicle, things like that, to make sure that the lawyer is immediately putting on notice to the trucking company that you have hired them and that they have a claim and they need to preserve evidence and you want to do an inspection and a bunch of things like that that can go on while the injured person is going through their recovery phases. So I hope that video helped. If you find yourself or a loved one, a family member involved in a crash, on how soon should I reach out to and talk to a lawyer. If you have any other questions, feel free to contact us at 303-919-7777, Kane Trial Law in Castle Rock.